The text on my phone burned into my retinas. You don't need to come to the party. She needs space. My thumb hovered over the screen, trembling, as the words from my sister-in-law's husband seared through me like a blade. I just spent $26,000, every cent of our savings, on Lisa's surgery, a grueling 6-hour procedure to remove the tumor threatening her life. I'd held my wife, Emily, through nights of sobbing, promising we'd get through this together. And now, standing in our dimly lit kitchen, the linoleum cold under my bare feet, I was uninvited from the celebration of Lisa's recovery. The air felt heavy, like it was pressing my chest inward, and a sour knot twisted in my gut. Something was wrong. Horribly, insidiously wrong. I reread the message, my pulse hammering in my ears. The words were curt, sterile, like a doctor's note scribbled in haste. She needs space. Space from what? From me? The man who'd drained his bank account, who'd worked overtime for months to cover the gap insurance wouldn't touch. I glanced at Emily, curled on the couch, her phone glowing against her face. She hadn't mentioned the party. Not once. The silence between us, usually comfortable, now felt like a chasm. I said, my voice rough like I'd swallowed gravel. Did you know about Lisa's recovery party? Her eyes flicked up, wide for a split second before narrowing. Oh yeah, it's this weekend. Small thing. Just family. She tucked a strand of chestnut hair behind her ear, her fingers lingering there, fidgeting. Family. I repeated, the word tasting bitter. So why am I not invited? Her lips parted, then closed. The pause was too long, a heartbeat too heavy. It's not like that, Tom. Lisa's just overwhelmed. She asked for something low-key. Low-key? I echo, my voice flat. I paid for her surgery. I'm not family. Emily's gaze dropped to her phone, her thumb scrolling aimlessly. You're taking this too personally. It's not about you. But it was. I felt it in the way my skin prickled, in the way her words didn't quite meet my eyes. I wanted to scream, to demand answers, but the air in the room felt fragile, like one wrong move would shatter everything. Instead, I turned away, the kitchen clock ticking louder than it should, each second a needle in my spine. The next morning, I drove to the hospital alone. The sterile scent of antiseptic clung to the halls, and the fluorescent lights buzzed faintly, grating on my nerves. Lisa was sitting up in her room, her face pale but alive, a faint smile playing on her lips as she chatted with her husband, Mark. He stood by her bed, his hand resting on hers, their fingers laced in a way that felt too intimate, too private for me to witness. I knocked softly on the doorframe. Tom. Lisa's smile widened, but it didn't reach her eyes. You didn't have to come. Wanted to see how you're doing, I said, forcing a grin. My eyes flicked to Mark. He didn't meet my gaze, his jaw tight, his thumb brushing Lisa's knuckles. I'm better, she said, her voice soft. Thanks to you. I don't know how we'll ever repay you. You don't have to, I said, but the words felt hollow. I wanted to ask about the party, about the text, but Mark's presence loomed like a storm cloud. Your family. Mark's eyes finally met mine, sharp and unreadable. Yeah, family. His tone was clipped, like he was spitting the word out. I felt the air shift, a subtle warning I couldn't quite grasp. That night, Emily was late coming home. She'd said she was visiting Lisa, but the hospital's visiting hours ended at 8, and it was nearly 10. I sat at the dining table, the wood grain under my fingers rough and unyielding, like the thoughts clawing at my mind. I'd always trusted Emily, her warmth, her loyalty, the way she'd laugh at my terrible jokes. But now, doubt crept in like damp rot, spreading through every memory. The way she'd been distant lately, always on her phone. The way Mark had looked at me, like I was an intruder in my own life. When she finally walked in, her cheeks were flushed, her coat dusted with rain. Sorry, she muttered, avoiding my eyes. Lisa needed me. Needed you for what? My voice was sharper than I intended, and she flinched. Just talking. She's scared, Tom. Recovery's hard. Her words were rehearsed, too smooth, like she'd practiced them in the car. I stood, my chair scraping against the floor. Why didn't you tell me about the party? She froze, her coat half off, dangling from one arm. I told you it's small. Lisa didn't want a crowd. Bullshit. The word slipped out, raw and ugly. Mark texted me. Said I'm not welcome. Said she needs space. What the hell does that mean, Emily? Her face crumpled, but not with guilt, with anger. Why are you making this about you? My sister almost died, and I paid to save her. I shouted, my voice echoing off the walls. I gave up everything. Our savings, our plans, our future. And now I'm the one who's shut out. Emily's eyes glistened, but her jaw was set. You don't get it, do you? It's not always about money, Tom. She's my sister. I'd do anything for her. The words hung between us, heavy with something unspoken. My mind raced, piecing together fragments. Mark's cold stare, Emily's late nights, the way Lisa's thank you felt rehearsed. A sickening thought clawed its way up, one I'd been shoving down for days. Are you sleeping with him? I asked, my voice barely a whisper. Emily's face went white, her lips trembling. What? Mark, I said, louder now, the name like acid on my tongue. Are you sleeping with him? She laughed, a sharp, brittle sound that cut through me. You're insane. You're actually insane. But she didn't say no. She didn't meet my eyes. And in that moment, the world tilted, the ground beneath me crumbling. The party was Saturday. I wasn't invited, but I went anyway. The rain had stopped, leaving the air thick with the scent of wet asphalt. Lisa's house was lit up, warm light spilling from the windows, laughter drifting out like a taunt. I stood across the street, my breath fogging in the cold, watching shadows move inside. Emily's car was in the driveway, parked next to Mark's. I shouldn't have been there. I knew it, but the ache in my chest, the gnawing need for answers, drove me forward. I crossed the street, my shoes silent on the pavement, and slipped into the backyard. Through the patio glass, I saw them, Emily, Lisa, Mark, a handful of others. Emily was laughing, her hand on Mark's arm, her head tilted toward him in a way that made my stomach lurch. Then I saw it, a glance between them, quick but loaded like a secret shared in plain sight. Mark leaned in, whispered something, and Emily's smile faltered, her eyes darting to the window. I ducked, my heart pounding, the grass damp under my knees. When I looked again, they were gone, vanished into the crowd. I waited, crouched in the dark, until the party thinned out. Hours passed, the cold seeping into my bones. Finally, I saw them, Emily and Mark, slipping out the back door, their steps hurried. They didn't see me as they moved toward the shed at the edge of the yard, their hands brushing, then clasping. My breath caught, a sharp pain lancing through my chest. I followed, silent, my pulse a drumbeat in my ears. The shed door creaked as they slipped inside. I pressed my ear to the wood, catching fragments of their whispers. Emily's voice, low and urgent. Mark's deeper, soothing. She can't know, Emily said, her words slicing through me. Not yet. I pushed the door open, the hinges squealing. They froze, their faces pale in the dim light. Emily's eyes widened, her mouth forming my name, but no sound came out. Mark stepped forward, his hands raised like I was a threat. Tom, Emily choked out. It's not what you think, but it was exactly what I thought. The betrayal wasn't just hers. It was Lisa's too. They'd all known, all kept me in the dark, letting me bleed our savings dry while they played their game. The money, the party, the space, it was all a lie to keep me out, to protect their secret. I turned and walked away, the world blurring through tears I didn't know I had. Behind me, Emily's voice called my name, but I didn't stop. The truth was out, raw and jagged, and it cut deeper than I'd ever imagined.